What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and today's video is part 3 of the live stream battles versus Kieng and I. So we're just going to dive right into these battles, and I lead with Blaziken, he leads with Magneton. So this is a great matchup for me. I'm really liking this, so we're just going to start going to town. He swaps out of there into Abomasnow. We're just going to keep smashing away, and this is why, if you saw some videos on Lapras, Abomasnow is a great counter for Lapras, but I wouldn't use it in this tournament. So he brings in Charizard. We're going to go ahead and get off this Brave Bird, force him to use that shield. We're going to swap into Steelix because we do have some shields. So we're going to go ahead and block these Blast Burns coming in, and then we're going to go right for these crunches. Store up some more energy. We're going to get this crunch off to burn that last shield. We do still have one more shield, so we're going to go ahead and shield this second Blast Burn, but it is a Dragon Claw, so that's good play by him. We're going to go for this crunch to finish off this Charizard, and then he has Magneton left still, so we're just going to store energy. Try to go for this Earthquake depending on how much damage that Magnet Bomb does. It does a lot, so we're just going to bring in a Alolan Marowak and go for the Bone Club after he uses Magnet Bomb. So GG's right here. We get the Bone Club off to finish off the Magneton. So that was a fun game. A lot of off-meta picks on his side just to showcase, but as you guys saw, sticking to the strong meta picks is going to be very advantageous for you. So, going into the next round, we're going to change up the teams again. And maybe you guys are wondering, why do I have so many teams set up? Well, I just set up as many teams as I could for this practice, just to get, I don't have to waste a lot of time picking individual Pokemon every single round. I could just sideswipe to a preset team. So we're going to try out Skarmory here. And Skarmory, I think, is more towards the back of the Flyers. So we're going to use it in a sense where it's going to counter the fighting, but we're against Altaria here. So let's see how we do. We are going to just start storing up energy here. He gets his Sky Attack off first. We're not going to shield it. It's not going to do a ton of damage to us. So we're going to go ahead and go for our Sky Attack. Let's see if he shields. He does shield. So we're going to bail out of there into Lapras because we have an Ice Shard Lapras. So he bails out of there into his Bastiodon. So we're just going to spam Surfs right here, hoping to burn some shields possibly, but he's not really going to shield. So we're going to get this Surf off, I think, just in time. We do get the Surf off, which is going to do a decent amount of damage. So we got him pretty low. He is going to use this Stone Edge right here to finish us off, but we're going to bring in Lucario to really ramp up some stored energy there. So now we got a Power Up Punch ready to go and a Shadow Ball about to be ready to go. He brings in his Altaria. We're going to go ahead and shield this Sky Attack, and then we are going to store some more energy, go to Power Up Punch to try to bait the shield. We don't get the shield, so he did a good job there. We're going to switch out into Skarmory to soak this Sky Attack. So we do soak the Sky Attack. We're just going to farm right here. We're going to go with Sky Attack ourselves versus his Steelix, which is not going to do a lot of damage. So we're just going to try to let our Skarmory go down here. Maybe get a Sky Attack off at the last second. We don't get it. That's all right. We have Power Up Punch ready to go, but we're going to go ahead and block this Crunch coming in. Get off this Power Up Punch to finish off the Steelix. He does use his last shield, so he is going to get another Crunch off here, but it's not enough to finish us off, so we're just going to keep spamming away. We finish him off, and then we go for the Shadow Ball, but it doesn't go off, and I didn't remember how much health I had, or how much health his Altaria had there. If I would have gone for the Power Up Punch, it would have been a win. So a keynote for you guys when you're battling, try to your best to remember how much health when they swap out they have, so you can make the right decision, because if I would have used Power Up Punch there instead of doing one quick attack and then going for Shadow Ball, I would have definitely won that match. So just lessons learned, and we're going to go ahead and move into the next game. And I'm talking about it right here, as you guys can see, explaining why I went for Shadow Ball, because I didn't know how much health he had, because Power Up Punch doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Even with it ramped up, it would have done 30 damage there since I had 2 Power Up Punches available. But his Altaria could have had possibly like 35, 40 health, which I would have lost anyways, which is why I went for that Shadow Ball instead, but it did lose me the game. So in hindsight, should have gone for that Power-Up Punch. So let's see what Pokemon I choose here. I go ahead and take out Skarmory. I'm going to put in Altaria. And I'm just going to go with a very meta pick team. Altaria, Lapras, Lucario. So he leads with Blaziken, so we get a positive matchup off the start, which is very good. He's got to swap out of there into Dragonair. We're going to go ahead and stay in here and bail out into Ice Shard Lapras. And we're going to go ahead and shield this Dragon Pulse coming in and finish off his Dragonair with our Ice Shards. So let's see what he brings in. He brings in his Blaziken, so we're just going to go ahead and try to get as many Surfs off as we can to burn these shields. We do get a Surf to burn that shield, and then we're going to go straight for another one. And he blocks it again, so we got both shields down, which is awesome. We are going to go ahead and go right back into Altaria once the timer goes down. So we got to shield this right here. It's going to be a Brave Bird. That would knocked us out, so... He switches again to Steelix. We're going to switch to Lucario, and we are just going to go to town on this Lucario. He does get a Crunch off, or he gets an Earthquake off, actually. Ouch, that hurt. So that is GG right there. I thought he was going for a Crunch, but he did have enough time to get the Earthquake off. So that was a very close game right there. Well played by him, able to get that Earthquake in time, and if I would have swapped faster, I could have beaten him to Power-Up Punch. So GG's. And all these games that we had were just a ton of fun, a lot of lessons learned. If you haven't seen part 1 or part 2, they are linked down in the description. And another note that I made in part 2 is if you have Lucario, you got to really decide what you want to shield and not want to shield. So in the case of versus Melmetal, you don't need to shield that Rock Slide. It's not going to be doing a lot of damage unless obviously you're going to die. But if you have a full health Lucario and they're getting off a Rock Slide, maybe don't shield it and save that shield for another Pokemon. So moving into this next game, we're going to lead with Alolan Marowak. He leads with Lucario, so it's a favorable matchup for us. But he does have that threat of getting off a Shadow Ball, so he's going to bail out of there into Lapras. We are going to bail into our Lucario and really set ourselves up for success here. So we're going to block this Surf. We're going to store a bunch of energy, go for the Power-Up Punch right here to get that shield. We do get the shield. He gets another Surf off, so we're going to have to block this to keep our Lucario alive, but we're going to be able to finish him off with quick attacks alone, and we have a lot of stored energy right now, so this is really good. He brings in his Lucario, though, with Power-Up Punch, so he takes us out, but we're going to go into Alolan Marowak with Shadow Ball, ready to go. He goes ahead and blocks it, and we are going to go straight for the Shadow Ball. We do beat him to it, so we are going to take out this Lucario. And this is why I like Alolan Marowak. That Shadow Ball threat is so strong, especially with Hex. It can really sweep a team if they don't have shields. So he brings in his Steelix, and we are going to go for the Shadow Ball right here. So we do get the Shadow Ball off, and if he wants to eliminate us, he's going to have to go for that Crunch. So he's just trying to store a bunch of energy. So our Alolan Marowak does go down to the Crunch. We have Steelix left. And he is going to get an Earthquake off here, but it's not going to be enough to finish us off, and we can beat him to the Crunch to win the round. So we do get to the Crunch just in time, and we take out his Steelix for the W. So that was a really good game, and it just goes to show that if you win the lead, it's really hard to come back from that initial loss because you can't make any wrong decisions. And you really have the upper hand if you win that initial start. So moving into the next game, let's see what I decide to go with here. And I'm talking about all this right here, that it's very good to get a win. If you get the win on the lead, to really capitalize on it because you can win the game because of that. So let's see what I decide to go with. I decided to go with my Altaria, Steelix, Lucario setup. And I like to switch them around in different order, but this time we're going to lead with Altaria. He leads with Blaziken, so another win for us. So right here, if I just stick it out, play smart, I should be able to win. We're going to go ahead and go for the Sky Attack because we have a positive matchup versus his Lucario. But, you know, Lucario is such a huge threat, that it can really change the tide of battle if used correctly. So we're going to go ahead and get another Sky Attack off here. He will have to shield again. So we both have burned shields. I'm going to go ahead and shield this power-up punch and try to finish him off with Dragon Breaths, but he does get another power-up punch off to barely finish off my Altaria. He's got absolutely no health left. We're going to bring in, let's see, we're bringing in Lucario to finish him off. And it's not looking very good because he does have Blaziken. We're going to go for the power-up punch. We don't get the power-up punch. And we have Steelix left, and he's going to get this Focus Blast. Oh, Focus Blast hurts. Ouch. So, GG's there. Even though I won the initial lead, he did have two very strong Pokemon to take out my Pokemon that Blaziken. If you don't have a check for it and line your check up against a Blaziken, it can sweep your team. As you guys saw right there, it handled Lucario and then it one-shot Steelix. So that is definitely a huge threat in this tournament. So moving into the next game, let's see what happens. I lead with Altaria, he leads with Lapras. So this Lapras is probably Ice Shard, but it is Ice Shard, so I'm going to go ahead and swap out of there into Lucario. He swaps to his Charizard. We're just going to store up a bunch of energy, go for Power Up Punch to Beta Shield and ramp up our damage. We do get the shield. He does get a Dragon Claw off though, so we're going to go ahead and let Lucario go down, and we're going to go into Altaria. And Altaria is going to be able to handle Charizard very well, especially if we shield this Dragon Claw right here, save our health. So we do burn the shield, and we do take him out before he gets another Dragon Claw off, so that was very clutch. He brings in Bastiodon, so we're just going to try to store a bunch of energy, go for a Dragon Pulse here to do as much damage as we can. And then we are going to swap to Steelix. And Steelix is going to be a great counter for Bastiodon, but he knows that, so he brings in his Lapras. We decide to shield this Surf to save our health. We're going to store up a bunch of energy here, go for the Crunch to bait the shield or do some decent damage. So we get the shield. All right, things are looking good, but he does have a few Surfs lined up. So he's got one Surf there. And we are going to go for the Earthquake. And we get the Earthquake off to finish off this Lapras. But he has Bastiodon ready to go with a Flamethrower, which takes out our Steelix. And then you guys already know what happens when an Altaria fights a Bastiodon. It's nothing's going to happen. Bastiodon is just going to smack me down. So that is a GG, and that just goes to show how strong Bastiodon is in this tournament, especially if you get locked in against an Altaria. All right. Diving into another game. Starting to get some dry throat here. Alright, so let's see how it goes. Repping that Team Instinct swag. And we lead with Alolan Marowak. He leads with Lapras, so that is not good for us. And he has Water Gun Lapras this time, as you guys tell from the animation and my health completely disappearing, so I have to swap out of there into Lucario. He swaps into Charizard. We're going to go for the Shadow Ball this time instead of the Power Up Punch. Let's see what he does. He does decide to shield, so that was a smart play on him. We're not going to shield this because we're already dead anyways, so there's really no point. We're going to go to Alolan Marowak, store a bunch of energy, go for the Shadow Ball right here to try to make sure he doesn't shield, and we do get him on that, and he brings in his Lapras, so we have to shield this right away. It is going to be Surf. So we're just going to keep storing energy, we do have to shield this other Surf coming in, but we do have a lot of energy stored up. So we're going to go for the Bone Club to bait the shield. We do get the shield, and now we can go for the Shadow Ball right here. So we do get the Shadow Ball off just in time, and we go ahead and eliminate that Lapras. And we are going to go down right here to whatever comes out. It is Bastiodon, but we have Steelix. Great counter for Bastiodon, as you guys will be able to see. We're going to go ahead and get this Earthquake off to take out a ton of his health. So we do get the Earthquake off. He gets his Flamethrower off, but it's just not going to be enough to eliminate us. So we're just going to keep spamming away and get this final crunch off. And that is going to be the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed these battles that Kieng and I did. And I hope you guys learned something or saw some insights on some Pokemon you guys were hoping would perform well, and you saw them perform well here. So thank you so much for watching, and I also like to give a special shout out to all my patrons. Like always, guys, thank you for your support, and like always, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.